Hey guys, we're live. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and today my guest is Mai Flips. How are you doing today?
I'm well. I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come on and hang out with us for a little bit. Go
Of
ahead
course.
and introduce yourself to the audience in case they don't know who you are.
Hi, I'm Mai Mai Flips, also known as Mai. I resell on eBay part time. Yeah, sorry, my dog just came in. Yeah, and I mainly sell like video games, consoles, and then whatever I find at thrift stores, flea markets, flip it for a profit. And I do a
Good.
lot of switch trades too. So I've been doing a lot more of that now that I'm back to work part time. I don't have too much time to source, so I could trade and then get a lot of inventory at one time.
Right.
So,
So Maya is lives in California, and so
yes.
you have a full time job that you work as well.
Yeah. So I work at it. It's full time, close to full time. I work 4 days a week. During the daytime. So and then on the weekends I sell. On Sundays I sell at the flea market. And then during the weekdays, I try to source as much as possible, but it's kind of hard to. But yeah, I do.
All right, awesome. Let me say hello to a few people in the chat. We have the Hollywood
Okay,
Reseller is here, and we have MRel Wrong. I'm sorry if I mispronounced
that's
your name. I do that a
that's
lot on
real.
my
That's
channel.
my brother.
And so, Hollywood Reseller, he wants to know what part of California are you from?
I'm in Fairfield, California. I'm right in between San Francisco and Sacramento, about an hour away from both.
Okay, awesome. Now, so you have a full time job. So you're basically like you have a full time job, but you're almost like a full time reseller in a way because
I
the amount of
do.
time that you put into it, it's almost like you have two full time jobs. So it's good to have different guests on because I get messages from people saying, "Well, I have a full time job. It's not easy for me, to go and be a reseller and still work a full time job." So I wanted to say hey to Katie Reeds is in the chat. She
Hey,
says,
Katie.
Maya, hey girl. So thank you guys in the chat for coming by and hanging out. If you have questions for our guests, drop it in the chat below. So I wanted to ask you a few questions. Is how long have you been working at your current job? You said you recently started at this new casino, and what is your job there exactly?
So I'm a card dealer. I deal poker, three card, blackjack, baccarat, pygo, in a casino, a California card room. I just started at a new casino in Napa in February. Yeah, so I've been there for a few months now, and it's not bad. I like it. It gives me time to work on my reselling too. The schedule that I have there is really good, so I can't complain about it at all.
So do you do pretty well there? As because I've never worked as a car dealer, but I've heard
Great.
that some of them work at the casino. Like if you're like a poker dealer and the person who wins the poker hand, they're supposed to tip the dealer. Does it work that way, or how does
Yeah,
that exactly
I
does
mean,
that
they're
work?
not required to tip us, but dealers do, just like servers would live off of their tips. We get
Uh
paid minimum wage, and then whatever we take home, we keep. Uh, it, some dealers do get lucky as far as taking home a lot of tips. I work the day shift, so it's slightly slower than the evening time, but I still make pretty good money there. Yeah,
Okay.
I've been doing it for quite some time. I think probably about 10 years now. I've been a dealer. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's got to say something, right?
Well, and the thing is, people don't know that when you show up to be a car dealer, you can't just show up and be like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm the car dealer." Like you actually have a school and a training that you have to go to. Like you have to get
Yeah,
like certified or something, right? You can't just show up like day one and be like, "Hey, I do car dealer at the bingo hall or at my buddy's house." Like
right.
you actually have to be trained professionally to do this, right?
Yes. Yeah. So there's actually a poker school that I help occasionally with. On some days that I'm off. And so I did training. I think I trained. This was like 10 years ago. I trained for 3 or 4 months before I got a job. And then in order to be hired, you actually have to pass an audition. So you have to deal live games or deal practice games. And then whoever's the manager, general manager, decides whether or not like they want you to work there. But yeah, it's there's a lot of procedures that you have to remember, but it's not too bad of a job.
Okay, cool. I was just wondering. I don't think I could do the job because I would be like worried that I would like flip the card wrong or do something to
I've
mess
done
somebody's
that
hand
before.
up.
I've done it plenty of times. I've done so many things. Like, all the different books you could think of, I've done. Especially on poker, there was this one hand in particular. where I had like I put out the flop, everybody's there, turn and river, and then on the last card I put out the river and I scooped the entire hand up and the action wasn't complete. And we're just like, oh, okay, well, what do we do at this point? But that was like I was too tired that day.
Right. It's like there's cameras everywhere, and you're like the pit boss is like breathing down your neck, like like you better not screw this up, you know.
Yeah.
So that's cool. The good thing is that the money that you make in tips, you get to bring home cash pretty much every day, right? It's almost all right. So that's good. That's good. I just wanted to talk about it for a minute because some people think that you could just show up with no experience, no prior, nothing, and just show up and be like, hey, I'm your card dealer. So let me catch a few people in the chat. We got a bunch of people in the chat today. So we have a Hollywood reseller. He wants to know what is your least favorite platforms to resell on and why. We have Mike in the chat. We have Pernell Felix is in the chat. We had Marlena. Marlena is here. We had we have M. Wrong is here. Mike is in the chat. He says, "What do you see yourself doing in the future on eBay, or just sell more of the same?" So you want to answer a couple of questions so we can get caught up on the chat?
Yeah.
Hollywood reseller wants to know what is your least favorite platforms to resell on and why?
My least favorite, I only sell on eBay and Facebook Market. I prefer eBay at this point. Because like when there's a problem, I can actually talk to somebody like either through the phone or through messages. When I have a problem on Facebook Marketplace, as far as shipping wise or anything like it is impossible for me to contact anybody that works for Facebook. Like right now we're in the middle of moving and I can't change my return address on there. So I don't even want to list anything on Facebook Market right now. That's my least favorite at this point. I don't sell on anything else.
Okay, cool. Mike asked a question. He says, what do you see yourself doing in the future on eBay? Just more of the same, or do you have something different? I guess he wants to know, like, what is your future plans that you have on eBay, on your platform?
I definitely want to continue selling on eBay, probably at like I want to devote more time to be able to list more, especially at this time. I feel like my business is exactly where it needs to be. Don't plan on changing too much, probably sourcing differently. I need to find more ways to source. That's about it for that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We have a question in the chat from Marlena. Says, what has been your best find to date?
Best find or best trade? I'll do best trade. A few weeks ago, I did a pretty decent trade. I traded an Animal Crossing Switch for some amiibos that I didn't really know too much about, and I had actually told the guy that I was going to pass on his trade because I was lazy to do the research. And then I just I don't know what changed my mind, but I decided to just take the leap and just be like, all right, whatever. Like this guy's actually really nice. I'll try and trade. Like if anything, like about $300 from the Switch. And I'm like, well, I'll just take the leap and just like stop being lazy, basically. And that trade ended up being very profitable. I got more than 50 plus amiibos, and I was already able to sell off less than or a little more than half of them for almost 2,000 in profits. So
wow.
that's my best one. Yeah, that one's my best one. And I was just kind of happy that I decided not to be lazy at that point. I was like, let me just do this.
Yeah, if you guys don't follow Maya, her links for Instagram is in the description below. And I'm a follower of your Instagram, and what kind of catches my attention is you do sourcing in a little bit different way. Like maybe you'll buy a Nintendo Switch for $300, and then you'll flip it and get like a bunch of old N64 games or something, and be able to trade $300 to get $700 worth of merchandise that you can turn around and resell and basically double your money. Are you there? I think you froze up for a second. Let me see if I can get the screen to work. Oh, hang on. Sorry, guys. I think we froze up. Let me see if I can. I'm going to try to kick you out of the stream and bring you back in because I don't know what's going on with it. Just give me 1 second. Oh, I think we lost our guest for a second. So she'll be back, I guess. Let me see what's going on. Let me see if I can message her on Instagram and see what's wrong. I'll be right back. Oh, Sorry guys, we lost our guest. Maya was here, and I don't know what happened. I'm trying to send her a link to see if I can get her back in the chat. So let me see if I can send her the StreamYard link. We got disconnected. She just messaged me and said that she's coming back. Sorry. So I'm going to say hello to a few people in the chat. We have Death Pile Destroyer says, "How is everyone? I'm following most of you." I wanted to say hello to Marlena is in the chat. Says, has inspired me to buy Axis switches, but I have yet to make a good trade. The idea of having to sift through BS messages and get a good one is daunting. Oh, here we go. Our guest is coming back.
Okay, sorry guys. Rookie's mistake. I didn't plug in my laptop.
Yeah, that's all good. I was like, we lost her. So, anyways, so we were just talking, saying that before you got disconnected, that one of the things that kind of intrigues me about your Instagram page is you'll buy like a Nintendo Switch for $300, new in the box, and then you'll trade it for like old N64 games or other items, and then you'll be able to turn your $300 investment into like $600-700 worth of merchandise that you can basically flip and resell, right? So do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I've seen a couple of other guys on YouTube that do something similar to that. So go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Well, I actually got the idea from Hyphy Gold Topher, because I follow him on Instagram, and I saw he was doing the Switch trades, and I figured like I had a Switch trade, so I hit him up and I actually asked him like how much you would initially go for, like how do I know if it's a good trade or not, because I knew nothing about it. And then he gave me the rundown of it, and I kind of felt inspired after that. So I listed on, the platforms, Facebook Market, some trade groups and everything, and just to see like what I would get. And it started off like that, and then eventually snowballed into this big thing where I'm just getting trades almost weekly, which works out because working my job, I don't get time to go to thrift stores as much as I used to be able to. Or sourcing anywhere. So now I have inventory coming to me, which is great.
Yeah, and so what would like your typical trade when you do a trade? What would like your typical ratio be? So let's say you went to Walmart, you bought a Nintendo Switch for $300, and the idea is if somebody else maybe they have an old video game system later on in their closet, but they don't have $300 to go buy a new Nintendo Switch, and maybe Christmas or birthday's coming up or whatever it is, and they want to go buy one, but they don't have the money, then they'll like hit you up like on Craigslist, or they hit you up on Facebook Marketplace and say, "Hey, I'm interested in doing a trade." Kind of talk to us a little bit about how that works.
Okay, so I post in my ad like that I'm mainly interested in consoles, video games, anything of the retro aspect. And when they message me, I ask for pictures of what they have or what they're offering to trade, and they'll show me like I get a lot of like crappy offers, like I'll trade for a PSP for yours, and they'll be like, "Oh, but it's broken." Like, no, clearly you're gonna be blocked right now. But like you have to weed through at least 100 of those before you get to the the golden one, basically. So there's a lot. It's pretty time consuming in that aspect of just like refusing offers. But when I finally do get a good one, either they will ask like what are you looking for? Like, how much are you looking for? And I'll tell them like I'm looking like for this X amount of dollars of trade value. Like normally I'm between 500 and 600 trade value. That's how much I want to receive.
Right.
And sometimes like I'll get some offers where they'll just like send multiple pictures of everything, which is like I'm a little confused. Like, okay, what are you offering? Like, are you offering the entire thing? And then usually those are the people like you could have it all. Like, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm down for that. Like, it's the ones that mainly like send me like, pretty crappy offers like a Nintendo DS, just one. That's the screen is broken or something, and they want to trade. Like, those are the ones that I get like at least 10 of those a day.
Yeah, well, you do fairly well. I've seen you do trades, and they're like, "Hey, I'm selling you this pile of video game stuff plus cash on the side to help supplement it, to help offset it." So you do pretty well with your trades. We got a bunch of people in the chat, so let me get caught up with the chat real quick. We have a question from Mike. He wants to know how many items does Maya currently have listed on eBay?
I have it's pretty low. I have 189. But like I I'm only able to list almost like only 1 day a week, really, like a full day of dedication of listing. I try to keep above 200, which I was at the beginning of the weekend, and now it's Monday, and I've sold quite a few items since then.
Yeah, it's always a thing. The weekend hits, and it's like you have a bunch of
Yeah,
packages to ship out.
which I
I
don't
know the
mind.
feeling. Right. Well, I try to pull all my orders the night before, so that way I'm not out running around trying to pull all my orders during the daytime. So I wanted to say hello to a few people in the chat. We have Death Pile Destroyer says my name is Esteban. So hello, thank you for coming by. Jim's Closet Jim's is here in the chat. Says yo Jeff and Maya. Travis R stopped by. Steve is here from Resell Dojo. It says Maya has been killing it in the trade. We have Miri Wong and Robert is here in the chat. Death Pile Destroyer says, I'm following most of you. Let's see here. It says, Marie has inspired me to buy excess switches, but I have yet to make a good trade. The idea of shifting through a bunch of BS messages is a daunting one. And we got Julian here, says, says, no worries. I screenshot your frozen face. And it says, I see Donkey Kong, Jungle Green, and 64 in the box.
I just got that.
We have Flippin' Eric is in the chat, and Crazy Cats 58 says, hey, fam. So I'm trying to get caught up on the chat. So talk to me about this new Donkey Kong thing that you got. You want to talk to us about that?
Oh, yeah. So it's right there behind me. Let me see that way there. It's complete in box. They're pretty rare. They go for around 700 or 800. A girl hit me up yesterday. Actually, I have all of my listings still marked as available for trading, and she hit me up and asked if sent me pictures of the Donkey Kong set and asked if I wanted to trade for my Animal Crossing Switch. And so of course I had to, but at that time I was out of Animal Crossing Switches. So what I did was I used my personal my personal collection Animal Crossing Switch. So if anybody out there has an extra one, hit me up because I'm looking for a new one. Yeah. So I traded. I couldn't pass it up, so I traded it yesterday.
Yeah. Is it new in the box or is it?
It's not new in the box, but her mom was the original owner, and her mom was there too when we did the trade. So it has all of the manuals, all the instruments and everything still in the original packaging. Even the packaging that the console came in, the plastic, it's still in there. The styrofoam's complete. It's crazy how good of a condition it is. Yeah.
But now, so I got a feeling you haven't really talked about before the live stream, but you're also a video game collector. So some of this stuff you keep some of it as well, and you like, hey, this is going to go in my personal stash here, and then I'm going to resell the rest. How does that work?
Yeah. So there's a lot of times, like right now, I'm having a really hard time letting that go. But I think like in the end, I will sell it just because like I like money. Like I can't say no to money. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially when you live in California, so the cost of living is high there. So it's like you've gotta like hustle double and be able to like money in order to just cover all your expenses of living there, right? So
yes.
That's the thing. So Katie Reeds is in the chat. She asked the question, says, do you do any retail arbitrage with video games? And I wanted to say hello to the Flippin' Accountant. He says, good afternoon. Cool kids. Thank you for stopping by. We appreciate you. So Katie Reeds wants to know, do you do any retail arbitrage with video games? Is there anything that any tips or tricks you could like let us know about?
I actually don't do a lot of retail arbitrage just because I've had bad experience with it in the past. Like I bought a lot of stuff from stores and it sat on my shelves for the longest time and ended up having to sell it for less than what I got it for. But no, I don't really do retail arbitrage with video games either. Usually I just buy and I hold on to them sealed in hopes that like 10 years from now, the value will go up. But I don't buy brand new product to resell it. I if anything, I buy brand new Switches just to trade.
We have a question that says, what is retail arbitrage? Retail arbitrage is like if you go to Walmart and you go to the clearance section, you'll see items in the clearance section and maybe it'll be 75, 80% off or whatever the regular price. And you can buy items at the clearance, let's say at Walmart or Target or Best Buy or whatever, and you find items on clearance and then you can turn around and resell them on eBay or Amazon and resell them for a profit. So you're looking for items that let's say the item was $100 and it's marked down to $35. So what you're looking for is the 35, and then you're trying to resell it back for the 95 or 100 and resell it for retail price. So that's kind of what way that works. The Hollywood reseller says, what are your thoughts on selling Atari games?
I think if anything sells, then that's my thought. Like, I've sold Atari games before. They are pretty slow, like, sellers, but I think you just have to find the right person that will buy it, as with anything, really. And for the most part, like, if it's a slow seller on eBay, I will now take it to the flea market, and it'll sell for, like, it'll sell super fast, because there's a lot of resellers that go to flea markets to buy. So that's what I've been doing with a lot of, like, my bulk video games. But as far as Atari games, I don't have a problem selling them.
I like selling video games because the sell-through rate goes by pretty quick. The problem is when you go to a place like a pawn shop or you go somewhere to find them, they are asking. It's hard for me to pay $3 for a video game and then try to sell it for 10 because I already know that I have to pay eBay fees and then you have PayPal fees and all this stuff. Then you have to subtract your cost of goods. So there's got to be enough margin there. But there are some pawn shops that I go to, and they'll go in there and they'll sell them to you for $1 a piece, no questions asked. All the old PS3, Xbox 360, Nintendo Wii games. I guess they just want to get rid of them because it's taking up space on the shelf, and they'll sell them to you for $1 a piece. And I'll go there and just because I know I've sold a bunch of them in the past, so I don't have to look them up. I'll just start stacking them up on the counter. Say, all right, so I'm gonna have a stack of 10 here. So if you go and hunt and look, you can find good deals on them, but you just have to get a. It's the same way with whatever you're selling. You have to get it for the right price for there to be enough profit. Like I can pay $1 for an item and sell it for 10 or 15. Can't pay $3 and sell it for 10. There's just not enough margin there. So even if it's something that you're just like, man, this is a good deal, it's got to be it's got to be at the right price, you know. So I wanted to say hey to Katie Reeds is in the chat. Travis R says, how long have you been reselling video games? So how long have you been a reseller in general, and how long have you been reselling video games?
I've been reselling on eBay since July of last year. And then video games I think it's always been part of it, like from the beginning. Like I always just look for video games to begin with. So I guess, since July last year, I've been reselling.
Right, awesome. I wanted to say hello to Meritic7, says hello eBay addicts and Maya and everyone. Katie Reeds is in the chat. She says retail arbitrage is buying games on clearance or a sell at store like Walmart and reselling them for a higher price. Yeah, sometimes you can also get deals at GameStop. I went there, I don't know, a couple months back, and it was like buy two, get two for free or something. If anything that was like under $20, they would sell you. You could buy two of them, and then they would give you two for free. So you can get you could get pretty good deals. Sounds really cool, Jeff. Where can I find videos about retail arbitrage? Yeah, there are plenty of people. You can check out the Flippin' Accountant. He has videos about retail arbitrage. Travis says, what video games is it that you won't buy? Is there anything in particular that you don't want to buy as far as you try to stay away from?
No, I'll buy almost any video games as long as I could resell it, or if I think it will be profitable in the future as far as an investment goes. Nope. No, I would buy anything almost. Unless it's completely messed up, like the disc is super scratched. I probably won't do it, even though I do have a resurfacer. There's some things that just can't be fixed.
All right, so we have the Lone Star Picker is in the chat. He says, what is the biggest mistake as a reseller that you've discovered? What did you learn from it? What did you take away from it? And what else is it that you want to get into?
Oh, my biggest mistake. Okay, so one time I did a Facebook Market meetup. Like I bought stuff from the guy, and it was one of my first times buying anything, and I didn't check the cases before, the transaction before I left and everything. And when I got home, I realized that the cases were empty. So that sucked. I now check them all the time.
I've done the exact same thing before. I've done the exact same thing. I was at GameStop and I was trying to check out and buy these items. And it's the guy's job that works there. He's supposed to check all the cases before you check out, even double check them. But the store was getting ready to close. I was in a hurry. I was hitting like 5 GameStops that day. And then I got home and opened them up, and there was like, I had the case and there was no disc. And I got so mad, I took the freaking case and threw it across the room, because it was like, what are you going to do? I'm not going to drive all the way across town to go, for like 1 or 2 games. I just threw it right across the room. I've been there before.
Right.
So Meritic7 says, Maya, just subscribe to your YouTube channel. Is it time to make content? Are you going to be a content creator in the future? Should we expect to see any videos?
I thought about it, and I actually do. I record my trades sometimes. When I have to go alone, I record my trades for safety. Most of the time, I bring my boyfriend with me. But so I do have content available. I just don't know how to edit well. I've thought about uploading multiple times, but we'll see. We'll see. It's definitely something in the future.
Yeah, well, it can take up a lot of time, and it's just something that you're going to get better at it the more you do it. It's like, I'm not a big editor myself. Like, we're doing live, and it just is what it is. I'm not going to spend 2 hours out of my day editing videos when I could be out hustling and working and making money. It's kind of like one of those balancing things. So Resale Dojo says, Justin, you got to break out your catchphrase. The flipping accountant is here. He says 17 people in the chat. Smash the like button. I appreciate that, guys. Yeah, hit the like button. Katie Reeds is in the chat. Lone Star Picker says, remember, mindful merchants are after this awesome show that Jeff puts up. Awesome guest. We have to have her on the show on Mindful Merchants ASAP. I've been watching her ID account since last year. Yeah, I told you guys that she does really good on Instagram. If you don't follow her links are down below. So I wanted to say hello to Marlena is in the chat. Says you should talk about retro games on Facebook in the Facebook group. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I do. So I created a Facebook group for retro games. It's called Retro BSRT, Buy, Sell, Trade, Roll. Roll is like raffles, basically. So I run this. It's small time right now, but I post a lot of my finds for sale, for trade, or anything. So if anybody would like to be in that, just shoot me, a PM or something on Facebook. It's Retro BSRT. So there's a lot of other resellers there too, or video game collectors that you could offload your finds or even buy if you're trying to start collecting.
Okay, cool. I wanted to say hello to Miss Taffy is in the chat. We have Miratic7 is here. Lone Star Picker, Death Pile Destroyer says, hello, Lone Star Picker. We have Katie Reeds is in the chat. Let's see. It says, good to see you. Stop by Kelly Reseller Lewis's YouTube channel today. We have Mar is in the chat. And let's see. Definitely joining your live today with Lone Star Picker. Meritic7 says, always check inside the box. Sometimes it's the wrong items. Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. It's like these people, they're not in a big hurry. They couldn't care less one way or the other. Like, they don't get paid on commission. So they're just like putting the stuff in the bag just to try to get you out of the store, So Lone Star Picker says editing is the hard thing, and it does take a long time. Yeah, with having a YouTube channel, it's almost like making the content is almost like sourcing, and then having to go home and list the items. It's almost like editing. It's like no one wants to do the editing part. They just want to make the content. It's like everybody is excited about going out sourcing and get merchandise, but then when it comes home and you're just like, I have to sit here and list all these items, So we have the Lone Star Picker is in the chat. We have Flippin' Eric. He wants to know, have you ever sold DuckTales to the original Nintendo?
I believe I have, actually. No, actually, I don't think I sold it yet. I think I still have that copy, actually. I received it in a trade, and I still have a lot of sitting inventory. So I'm really bad at listing, especially these days. So I like to list the high-ticket items that I receive in trades, and then, like, some of the stuff I'll keep for myself just for, like, my own little collection right now. So I think I do have that one sitting around somewhere. I have to find it.
So I wanted to pick your brain real quick. You said you have a booth set up like on the weekend. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay. Yeah. Me and my my friend APS Treasures, Pernell Felix, he should be in the chat. He started selling at the flea markets, and he said it was very profitable. So now we go on Sundays and we offload a lot of like sitting items that don't sell too well on eBay, or like would be low profit margins on eBay. We sell for cash at flea markets on Sundays, the busiest day. So now we actually have we have regulars that come to see us, regular flea market enthusiasts that come see us weekly at our booth to see what we have new, and then we'll bring stuff, whatever they ask for. If we have it, then we can bring it for them. So it's another outlet of like making more income. on a day that I would typically probably spend more money. And since I'm already at the flea market, I can also source there too. So I'm already in there, so I may as well look for items that I could buy and sell.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, how much do they charge you to set a booth up there? Okay, because I'm asking for our audience in case they were interested in doing the same. So if you were going to go set up a booth, because I know it's different depending on what state you're in, California. So if you went there and it's like, hey, I want to open up a booth here at the flea market, how much do they charge you to open up a booth? And then how long is the flea market open? Is it open from like 9 a.m. till noon, or how is it all day? Like, how does that work?
So it's $25 on Sundays. I'm not quite sure of the footage of the booth. It opens at 6 a.m. They allow us to start setting up. And then I typically leave around noon because I've already made my money and I'm not trying to sit there all day and I want to go walk around. I believe the flea market itself closes at 3, but a lot of the vendors leave before or like start packing up sooner than that. Yeah, it's not too bad. $25 for, you could stay as long as you want. I mean, but if you make your money, you make your money, and I like to do that early.
Yeah. So is your booth, is it inside or is it outside?
It's outside. Yeah, so it's outside. We have tables, tarp, and then I have to buy a tent because now it's getting a lot hotter. So I have to buy one of those canopies to put over because it's getting hot out here.
Well, $25 is actually pretty cheap. Yeah, I've went to flea markets in the past, and I know what you're talking about as far as setting up a booth, and people have tables set up, and you can just buy stuff right off the table. And the thing I love about flea markets is they're similar to pawn shops. Most everything there is negotiable. So if you walk up and you see an item, like let's say I would walk by and say, hey, I found this remote that goes to an air conditioner, and I know it sells for $20. I'll just hold it up and say, hey, how much is this air conditioner remote? They'll say $1. I'll just reach in my pocket, hand them $1 before they change their mind, and going about my day. But yeah, most of the stuff there is negotiable. I find there's a lot of people at these flea markets that like buy storage lockers and storage booths, and they want to offload merchandise as well, and they'll set up booths there at the flea market. So let me say hello to a few people in the chat. Let's see here. I had a question here from Hollywood Reseller. He wants to know, what is the most expensive item that you have ever sold?
So I just sold those those amiibos. It was a lot of 61 Super Smash amiibos for, I think it was 1,200, and that was part of one of my Switch trades that I was talking about earlier. I believe that is the most expensive. I mean, not counting Pokemon packs, but those were part of like the personal collection that I didn't source for really.
Yeah, look who it is. Your buddy is here. We were just talking about you, Hyphen Gold. So came by. I actually just messaged him over the weekend, and so I hope you had a good weekend. So we were just talking about you. We were just talking about trading in Nintendo Switches and traded it in for old retro video games. Miss Taffy wants to know, what part of Cali do you live in?
I am in the Bay Area, Fairfield, California, right in between San Francisco and Sacramento.
All right, and I wanted to say hello to Sal. And I missed the question from the Lone Star Picker. He says, what motivates you, Mai Flips? He wants to know, like, what is it that motivates you as far as, I guess, reselling and working your job? What is it that motivates you?
I'm motivated to be financially free. I don't want any more like credit card bills or anything. Like, I just want to be able to save money now. Like, after I pay off all my credit cards and everything, I want to be able to save after that and then do more investing. So that I guess you could say I'm money hungry, like money motivated.
Well, I mean, you said you're going to save money. Are you trying to save money, like buy a house, or are you saving money to?
So we do have plans on buying a house soon, but so probably like a year or two. So I want to do that, but I also want to like gain financial freedom before that, of course. So
yeah, I'm with you. It's like night and day difference, guys. If you like wake up and you're like, hey, I don't have any student loans, I don't have any credit card bills, I don't have any car payments, it's just like totally freeing, and you're not up at 2:00 in the morning like, oh, did I forget to pay this? Like you're good. Right. You know, it's like you sleep a lot better at night. So I wanted to ask you some questions since you've been reselling for a while. Can you give our audience like maybe 2 or 3 tips that would help somebody? Because it's nice to have different guests on, because sometimes we have people that are full-time resellers, and then we have people like yourself that have a full-time job and then do reselling kind of on the side as well. Do you have any tips or tricks or anything like that that you can talk about?
Yeah, I don't really have any tricks, but I would definitely like suggest watching a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of like resellers. They have content that is readily available that helped me a lot, like getting started. Also having like an Instagram account to be able to connect with these resellers. You just find a lot of motivation within them too, like as a whole crowd. Like it's pretty amazing. Like you'll just post a picture and they understand like you can bounce ideas back and forth with them. A lot of like people that I chat with I've never met, and they're all resellers, and they're a huge support. Uh, but yeah, like organization, like I do not have that skill right now, and I'm trying to learn that. I but yeah, it just a lot of YouTubers already have this like tips that you could use, and like they tell you how to do everything basically.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of them things like with reselling, there's a multitude of different things that you have to learn. And it's like I find that I'm good at finding bargains and finding, maybe find an item for 50 cents that sells for 20 bucks. And then
Mhm.
the other stuff you just learn as you go, as far as
Nice.
listing items, shipping, taking photographs, handling customer service. All the other stuff you just kind of figure it out as you go. But it's just best just to get started. I wanted to say hello to Matt from My Ecom World just stopped by. Hey, Matt, thank you for coming in and hanging out with us today. So I wanted to ask you, what are some of your goals or some of your projects that you have coming up this year for like your future endeavors? Like, what are some of the goals or some of the things that you're working on later this year? I mean, can we expect you to maybe drop a few YouTube videos? Is there anything else that you have like in the works that you haven't told us about yet?
I don't have too much. I did get this 3D printer I'm working on. Trying to figure out how it works too. Yes, YouTube. I definitely do want to start like entertaining the thought more. Of course, I do have some content, but now by this time it's pretty old content. But yeah, I'll definitely think about doing that. But as far as goals go, like eBay wise, my listing goal is to have 500 active listings, and I'm kind of far off from that at this time. But yeah, hopefully YouTube. Definitely YouTube's at the top of my list right now. Well, definitely I have to look into editing classes or something.
Yeah, well, I dropped her link to Instagram and YouTube. She doesn't know it, but her YouTube and Instagram link is in the description below. So if you guys want to go follow her, the link's down below. So we have a question from Hollywood Reseller. He says, "What is the most unique item that you have ever sold?"
That's a tough one. Let me think. Um, There was a plushie from Chuck E. Cheese, like the really old plushies. I forgot his name. He's the one with the hat, but I got him for like $1 at a thrift store, and I sold him for like $60. And then there was this other. It was a mug actually, a coffee mug, and I just thought it was really interesting, so I picked it up, and it ended up selling for I think like $10. I got it for like 50 cents. So like profit wise, like that's pretty good. And then the person that actually bought it thanked me for shipping it well and securing the package, and they were really happy because it was no longer being made, and I guess they used to have it. So I thought that was pretty cool.
All right, awesome. Can you talk to me a little bit about maybe tips for selling on Facebook Marketplace? Because I don't even have a Facebook account that I know of. So
Sure.
can you talk to me a little bit about how that works? If somebody wants to buy or sell some stuff on Facebook Marketplace, talk to me about how that whole thing works.
Okay. Yeah. So you have to go to the Facebook Market. You make your listing just as you would on eBay. Just there's less things to fill out, of course. And then you could set it to either like a local pickup, or if you want to offer shipping, you can. You could also set it to make a pre-made label, or shipping included within the price, or shipping at your expense, like the seller's expense. You could do that. I choose to do at the seller's expense, my expense, because typically I can get a lower price on pirate ship than I would be able to using Facebook's prices. Um, it's not like it's basically the same as listing as on eBay, but I feel like you could reach a pretty wide like variety of people because it's everywhere now. Like Facebook is widely used like by almost anybody. The fees on it is 5%. But unless you do like a local meetup, then there's no fees, of course. Uh, And that's it. Like you ship it to you have 3 days after somebody orders to ship it, and then after that,
Right.
yeah, it's just like that.
Well, what our question is, do they pay through PayPal? Like, what is the
Oh,
method of
right.
payment, and how do they go about printing off the shipping label? I've never done it before. I'm just asking.
Okay. So if you choose to print through Facebook, then it'll give you a link, and that you'll just print the link through there, or you'll print the shipping label through there. If you want your own, then you do it. You know, whatever site you use on Pirate Ship, I use that, and then I print the label, and then I actually PM the person, and I PM them their tracking number, because I don't think Facebook alerts them when their item is shipped. So a lot of times I'll get people asking me like, "Oh, how's my item shipped? What's the tracking and everything?" So I like now automatically I will just PM them and let them know their tracking number and that their item has shipped. Um, what was that other question you
So
asked?
I just was curious how you do the shipping and what was how they transfer the funds. I didn't know if they did it
Okay.
through PayPal or how that worked.
Your funds are received, like it'll be initiated 5 days after the person has received their package. So you're not going to get paid right away. If that package gets lost in the mail for some reason and doesn't get delivered for like a month, you're not going to get your payment until after they've received it, like after they received it 5 days later.
Well,
I
what I'm saying is, does it get wired directly to your bank account, or how does that work?
Yeah,
I'm just
for me, it gets wired directly to my bank account. I think some people have like Facebook Pay, which I don't use. I think you get paid right away with that one. It doesn't go through. It's when I get the transfer, the deposit. It says it's from PayPal, but it's never in my PayPal account, so I don't know why it says PayPal on it. But yeah, I get it directly to my bank account.
okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm sorry to bug you. I've never done it
No,
before, and
that's
I'm just trying to figure out how to do it. So, do you meet the people in person, or do you just box it up and mail it out to them?
It depends on what the item is. I don't like to ship things. I don't like to ship like heavy, bulky items, and I don't like to ship breakable items like often unless there's a huge profit. Um, I There are some things that I will list. That I'm willing to ship, which is listed. Like you could change it off and on, but for the most part, I have both available for local and shipping. Mhm.
Okay, cool. I wanted to say hello to Bargain. Weasel was in the chat, says Mai Flips, thank you for doing the show. You're very inspirational. And Mike says that you have to be careful with Facebook one-on-one meetings, especially as a woman. So you're careful when you meet these people, right? Does your boyfriend go with you when you meet these
He
people, or
does.
how do you do that?
I just feel like you should just be careful in general, like female or not. It is always good to just be wary of your surroundings. I
Hmm.
on Most of the time I do bring him with me, and then I almost always meet during the daytime in a public area where I know there are cameras. I also have a GoPro which I wear, and I turn it on when I do the meetups. And I let them. And then if there is nobody with me or nobody can go with me, I call somebody, and they're in my pocket on the phone. So and usually on speakerphone, so that person, whoever I'm meeting up with, knows like I'm not really alone. So
All
it
right,
is always
awesome.
good to practice safety.
Yeah. So before we let you go, you have to kind of you have to drop some knowledge on it. So if somebody is in the chat, if they want to get started into reselling and they wanted to do
Okay.
it maybe part time or as a hobby on the side, give us maybe 2 or 3 tips that would help them get started in reselling or that would help them make more money. Like, well, like
Okay.
if I came to you and said, hey, listen, I've been doing eBay thing, I've been listing items, I only made $1,000 this month, I'm trying to make 5,000. What do I need to do to get there?
You got to source for bigger ticket items, I suppose. Yeah, look for stuff that have a high sell-through rate, which is what I do. Like the sell-through rate is you could find it by, you look up an item and it'll say how many listings there are, and you click on sold, and if the sold is higher than what is listed, that is a high sell-through rate, or that is what is considered a high sell-through rate. So for me, I like to buy things that will sell very quickly. And that's just what I suggest. Like if you want to sell more, you want to make more, it really just you have to put in the time to do it. It's not going to come to you like overnight. You literally have to work on this business day in and day out, and always check your disc chase your cases before you buy any disc. Yeah.
Right, for sure. So I wanted to say hello to Fee is in the chat, and we have Mister is in the chat. Says nice N64 collection. Miratic 7 says great interview, Jeff. Good tips, Maya. Thank you guys for coming out and hanging out with us today. And we have Katie Reeves is in the chat, and Hyphen Gold says Maya is me getting dope trades. So, anyways, before we let you go, Maya, go ahead and tell people where they can follow you at on YouTube and Instagram. Your links are down below. Tell them where you can come by and check you out at.
You could see me at the Concord Flea Market if you're in California on Sundays. Come by my booth. I'm usually, I don't know where I'm at exactly, but you'll see me. I'm on the corners. You can follow me at MaiMaiFlips on Instagram, and then if you want to join my Facebook group it's called Retro BSRT.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, give me your final thoughts, and we'll let you go. We greatly appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us today.
Thanks, Jeff. I actually had a lot of fun being here. I appreciate you inviting me in. Because I'm actually really nervous and still am, but trying to get over that because you have to do that for YouTube, right?
Right. You're gonna have your own YouTube channel soon. You're gonna be right. Everybody's gonna be coming to your chat and saying, "Hey, May, you just hit 1,000 subscribers. You're monetized, so you got to get over being shy." Yeah. That's just part of it, you know. You'll do just fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for coming out. My family that was very active in the chat. Thank you for that. Everybody, Katie Reeves, Topher, Cornell, or APS Treasures, thanks for coming out. Lone Star Picker, thank you. Those are just a few names that stood out to me just because you guys have been following me for so long. And thank you for all your support. And eBay Addicts Jeff, thank you for inviting me again.
All right, awesome. Well, I'll see you guys later. You guys have a great day. I will catch you guys tomorrow. I'll have a new guest. His name is Rico Copeland, and he does the whole shoe game. So if you want to learn about retail arbitrage, buying and reselling shoes, you want to come by and check this guy out. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you then. You guys have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.